Bodybuilding, a sport that shapes the human body to the extreme, but also a community that, for many people, once felt like home. Today, a lot of bodybuilding fans say the same thing with a sigh. It's not what it used to be. They feel the current scene has lost something authentic. You often hear that back then it was more real, and that the champions of the past were more likable, more human. Even some former champions openly criticize the current state of the sport. One well-known legend from the 1990s even said something along the lines of, "Bodybuilding is dead. It's not what it used to be." But it's fair to admit that this idealizing of the past can come from nostalgia. Human memory tends to highlight the good and push away the flaws and problems, which is why the good old days often feel better than they actually were. Every generation of fans believes their era was special. Maybe disappointed viewers today remember their youth spent flipping through bodybuilding magazines and how new and breathtaking everything felt back then. That nostalgic filter can distort our view. The past can seem more authentic partly because it's connected to our personal memories. On the other hand, the atmosphere around bodybuilding really has changed in the so-called golden era, roughly the 1960s through the 1980s. The community was smaller, tighter, and much more accessible. Top athletes often trained together in legendary gyms, and there was a family-like vibe filled with friendship. There were fewer shows and less money, and everything felt fresh. It was mainly about passion, not big business. Even in the 1990s, bodybuilders still enjoyed massive fan excitement. At major expos, thousands of people would stand in line for autographs. Fans didn't get to see their idols often, which gave every meeting this special, once-in-a-lifetime feeling. Today, it's a different world. Bodybuilding has been heavily influenced by social media, brands, and sponsorships. And that changed both the athletes and the fans. Thanks to the internet, what used to be a small world of hardcore gyms became a global phenomenon. Platforms like Instagram and YouTube give opportunities even to lesser-known athletes. You can build a name and gain thousands, even millions, of followers, even if you never win a major contest. Success today doesn't come only in the form of trophies, but also through follower counts and business collaborations. For fans, fitness content is now available 24/7. Social media constantly pumps out new training photos, videos, vlogs, and live streams from professionals. There's no need to wait for a monthly magazine or for one big show a year. Fans can track their favorite athletes almost in real time. But that has a downside. The old mystique is fading. In the past, fans only saw top bodybuilders rarely, and that made them idolize them more. Today, the magic is weaker. Fans can see everything and can even contact athletes directly through social media. When we have our heroes in front of us all the time, they lose part of their aura. The financial and commercial side of the sport has changed too. Back then, bodybuilders had limited earning options. A bit of prize money, some guest appearances, and occasional magazine advertising. Today, top athletes can earn serious money through sponsorship deals, supplement promotions, and their own clothing or product lines. Even the biggest event, Mr. Olympia, has evolved into a massive commercial show with a huge expo and many divisions. More money and more publicity helped the sport grow. But according to some veterans, it also took away part of the original charm. Bodybuilding became global and professional, but may have lost some of its former innocence. So the real question is this: did bodybuilding change as a sport, or did we just change? Is today's feeling that it's not the same anymore a reflection of real shifts and real problems in bodybuilding? Or is it more about how our perspective and expectations changed? Arnold Schwarzenegger, the icon of the golden era of the 1970s, when aesthetics and symmetry ruled the stage. The golden era of bodybuilding lasted from the 1960s to the early 1980s, and to this day, it's surrounded by nostalgia. The main faces of that time were legends like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Frank Zane, and Franco Columbu. Athletes who dominated competitions with aesthetic physiques and huge charisma. The highlight of the season became Mr. Olympia, first held in 1965. That's where Schwarzenegger battled rivals like Sergio Oliva and Lou Ferrigno in iconic duels. Bodybuilders in that era started carrying more muscle than earlier generations, but they still kept narrow waists, symmetry, and a pleasing kind of definition that appealed to classic aesthetics. The contest atmosphere also felt community-driven. Athletes trained together on Muscle Beach in California and in the famous Gold's Gym in Venice. The film Pumping Iron captured that era and helped bring bodybuilding into mainstream awareness. Fans admired not only the muscles, but also the personalities. Arnold's charisma and Zane's refined look set a standard that felt elegant, powerful, but still relatable. The Mass Monsters era, 1990s to 2000. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, the era of the mass monsters arrived, bodybuilders of unprecedented size. The priority became absolute mass and extreme conditioning, often at the expense of the classic elegance and balance of earlier aesthetics. A six-time Mr. Olympia champion, Dorian Yates, helped launch a new trend in the 1990s. Judges began rewarding massive muscle size on a level never seen before. Soon after, athletes like Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler followed, stepping on stage with shocking physiques, sometimes weighing well over 130 kilograms in contest condition. That era also brought a new level of pharmacology. Wider use of growth hormone and insulin alongside anabolic steroids made it possible to push muscle size beyond previous limits. But those extremes came with consequences, including the controversial distended bellies, sometimes linked to the growth of internal organs. Competitors often tried to offset it with extreme conditioning and shredded physiques. Audience reaction was divided. Some people were amazed by the record-breaking size, while others missed classic symmetry. Controversy around performance-enhancing drugs grew as well, and at one point, steroid control in the US became stricter. One year of Mr. Olympia was even known for being tested. Still, the 1990s were a peak era for bodybuilding in mainstream media. Magazines were full of these monster physiques, and the phrase "bigger is better" became a new motto. On stage, this era was all about mass, hardness, and total muscular dominance. Aesthetics and symmetry took a back seat, and over time that led to debates about whether the sport should change direction. The modern era, 2010s to present. Modern bodybuilding differs from previous decades through its diversity and its attempt to combine mass with aesthetics. From around 2010 onward, more competitive categories emerged. Alongside traditional open bodybuilding, divisions like classic physique gained popularity. With weight limits and a look inspired by the golden era, men's physique arrived too, featuring leaner bodies in board shorts. And women's categories expanded as well. Because of this, today's stage doesn't reward only the biggest athletes. It also celebrates competitors who are more symmetrical, more aesthetic, and closer to the classic look. For example, a champion like Chris Bumstead became massively popular thanks to his retro-style physique, and he built a fan base of millions through social media. And that's the big point. Social media changed everything. Fans can now follow training, diets, and even personal lives online every day. The presentation of contests is more professional too. Major shows are held in large arenas with live broadcasts, expo events, and sponsors, giving the sport more reach and prestige. But the downside is that there's no single unifying ideal anymore, like in the Arnold days. Some fans love extreme mass, like champions who resemble the old monster era, while others prefer classic aesthetics. The sport split into multiple streams, and every viewer can choose their champion. One thing, though, remains true. Bodybuilding keeps evolving. What was revolutionary in the past becomes normal over time, and standards keep shifting. Nostalgia versus reality. Many longtime fans still say, it's not the same anymore, and they often idealize the golden era, usually the 1970s and 80s. But it's important to recognize how nostalgia can distort memory. Golden eras are almost always wrapped in nostalgia, and our minds remember the beautiful parts while forgetting the negatives. So the past can appear more perfect than it really was. So again, the question is, did bodybuilding actually become worse? Or did our society and our expectations change? Sports sociologists often point out that sport mirrors society. Everything good and bad in society shows up in sport too. Today's world is obsessed with media icons, chasing victory, rewards, and attention. It's not surprising that this mindset also affects top-level bodybuilding. So maybe bodybuilding isn't declining. Maybe it's simply evolving naturally under new social conditions. What fans describe as a downfall could just be a transformation. Commercialization and the influence of media. One of the biggest differences between older bodybuilding and today's is the level of commercialization and media influence. Bodybuilding used to be a fairly niche sport. Today, fitness and bodybuilding are huge business. Shows like Mr. Olympia became massive events with expo fairs and heavy sponsorship. The leadership of the event has openly aimed for growth, more sponsorships, bigger sideshows, higher prize money, and more spectacular stage production. Brands and sponsors now play a major role. Top athletes sign lucrative deals with supplement companies, clothing brands, and media platforms, and they build their online image strategically. At the same time, the internet and social media completely changed how bodybuilding is presented to fans. Every champion has an Instagram or a YouTube channel, sharing training, diet, and motivational content. This visibility brought the sport a level of popularity never seen before. Bodybuilders now reach millions worldwide. But constant online pressure has a dark side. Content on social platforms often focuses on one goal: likes, views, and sponsor attention. That can create pressure to stay relevant at any cost, which sometimes leads to shallow presentation or controversial methods, just to boost engagement. Whether we like it or not, the media world transformed bodybuilding beyond recognition. What used to be an underground hobby is now a professional show business. The changing motivation of athletes. With the rise of commercialization, the motivation of many athletes changed too. In the past, it was often about passion for the sport, a sense of community, and earning respect from fellow bodybuilders. Bodybuilding grew out of groups of enthusiasts who trained together, supported each other, and worked hard simply because they loved it. Financial rewards were minimal. For example, Arnold Schwarzenegger reportedly earned only about $1,000 for his first Mr. Olympia title in 1970. So nobody did it for the money. Compare that to modern times, where top champions can win hundreds of thousands of dollars in prize money, showing how dramatically the finances grew. Today, elite bodybuilders can actually make a living from the sport. Many become entrepreneurs inside the fitness industry. Their goals reflect that reality. It's not only medals and trophies, but also followers, sponsorship contracts, and business partnerships. A successful champion builds a brand, training programs, supplements, clothing, appearances as an influencer. Contest stages may no longer be the only goal. They can be a tool to reach broader popularity. That doesn't mean passion disappeared. It just often mixes with the ambition to succeed commercially. And it's still true that most competitors grind every day primarily because they love bodybuilding itself. The difference is that an entire ecosystem of opportunities grew around the sport, an ecosystem that didn't exist before. bigger reach, more money. The positives of the modern era. People often focus only on the negatives. It used to be better, but the modern era brought real positives too. The sport now reaches a much wider audience than ever before. Training became mainstream. Going to the gym is normal now, not something weird. Modern fitness centers are everywhere and filled with people of all ages. Interest in bodybuilding and fitness keeps growing, and you can see it on stage. New categories, classic physique, bikini, men's physique, and more, brought far more athletes to competitions than in the past. Today, almost anyone can find a category that fits and compete, whereas in earlier decades there were fewer divisions and fewer opportunities. With bigger audiences and more competition came more money and more options. Professional bodybuilding now involves much larger sums than decades ago. The business around bodybuilding, supplements, equipment, marketing, has exploded. Today there are more gyms, more athletes, more followers, more competitions, and more money in the whole ecosystem. That growth gives athletes better training conditions, more contests throughout the year, and broader media coverage. And thanks to social media, fans can follow their idols closely in real time, something that simply wasn't possible before. Yes, the mystery of unreachable stars may have faded, and that old explosive atmosphere isn't guaranteed anymore. But on the other hand, the sport now has far more fans online than ever, and modern audiences can still create an incredible vibe at live events, especially when popular champions step on stage. The reach is bigger than ever, and with that reach come new opportunities for everyone involved. Every era has its own magic. In the end, you can't say that bodybuilding today is simply worse. It's different. Every era has its own unique charm. The golden era of Arnold and the legends had iconic personalities and a pioneering atmosphere, with a certain innocence and tight community spirit. The modern era is more dynamic, more global, and richer. Bodybuilding evolved, just like every sport evolves over time. The goal stays the same: maximum muscle development and extreme conditioning. But the methods and conditions changed. It's understandable that some fans feel nostalgic. But nostalgia doesn't mean everything was objectively better back then. It mostly means it was different. Modern bodybuilding offers something else: global connection, more professional conditions, and a wider range of categories and ideals. Some people prefer the old school, intimate vibe. Others love the modern era of innovation and variety. Neither is wrong. What matters is that the spirit of bodybuilding, hard work, discipline, and the desire to overcome yourself survives across generations. Maybe it's not exactly what it used to be, because the world around it changed, but the core is still there. Every era has something beautiful and specific. So instead of asking which one is better, maybe the real conclusion is this: bodybuilding has simply transformed with the times. And different doesn't automatically mean worse. Bodybuilding may not be the same as it was, but it still has a lot to offer. And every one of us can still find something in it. If this video interested you, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments how you see it. I'm Andra, and I'll see you next time in another video from the world of iron and discipline.